What is up, Vanilla Face?
What it is. Hopping on,
Shit.
man. Yeah. A little live. Hopefully,
I
I figure the more we do this, maybe we'll get better at it. Practice
No,
makes
it's fine.
perfect,
It's
right?
fine. To be honest, every time we do this, I just envision you naked. So I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with it already. Oh, Matty Ice getting in there already. That
Yeah.
looks nice. Where'd that come from? How did it do it like that?
I shared it. I shared it from my end, which I was surprised I was able to do. But yeah, that's cool. It even shows his little picture. So
And it popped it in there. That's nice. I love it. That's
yeah.
great. I didn't even have to click on it this
I
time.
did. I clicked on it. So I was telling you.
Dirtbag Scallywag. Very nice.
There you go. Um anyways, yeah, I mean, trying out the new background a little bit, mixing things up, seeing what we
Yeah.
can come up with.
Like I said, I'm not fearing for your life anymore. Obviously, you turn the lights on. I can see your olive complexion. It's
It's a
great.
little it's a little uh less direct, which I think helps. But I don't know, I got some things I'm gonna try to do maybe to make it a little different. We shall see. I don't
I'm
know.
ready for I'm ready for the green screen. I wish you would turn that shirt into something right now. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I honestly though, I got a
You
lot of homework
could.
to do. I don't know
You could. That
shit.
shirt would definitely absorb something right now if you were to try it.
You
Just
think
try
so?
it.
Hold on,
Yeah.
let me see a virtual background. Um, hold on.
Do it. It's just be a
It's
floating ass
showed
head. Oh, so close.
yeah, I don't know. Nope.
It didn't pick the shirt up. That's so weird.
I'm sure there's some sort of science behind it that I am
We're
too
obviously
stupid
both
to understand.
scientists. We're both scientists, so don't kid yourselves, people.
Yeah.
We're both scientists.
So, anyways, do you want to do a little 5 for 5, or you
You
just
got something
want to?
good? If
Not
you
really.
got something,
No, not really.
you got anything you're feeling?
Something might come to us. No, not necessarily. A lot. We have a list of really good ones, but I think they are
I don't want to
things.
get into them on
No,
these.
no, because but I'm saying they're things I think that take a little thought and preparation to do them right and to do them well.
I'm thinking
And
right now. This is usually all the thought I need. Because my lists change. You could give me a 5 for 5 one week, give it to me the next week. It might change. I
well,
mean,
let's
it probably
let's
changed quite a bit.
let's be honest. We've had a lot of decent ideas, but it doesn't take long for us both to just be like, but that's going to take a lot of effort. And
Correct.
we pretty much pull the plug at that point.
Oh, where's Vidal at?
There he
This is
is.
half and half, bud. But yes, way up on the guineas
Matty Ice working on bath time and bedtime.
with Nessie.
That's right. Little ice.
Gotta watch that guy.
But yeah, I mean, I think we've had a lot of decent ideas, but it just some of the stuff's just things that right now anyways, we're not prepared to put the time into, and that's not because we don't like doing this, but it's because we want to continue to like doing this, and if we start having to
Let somebody start paying me to do this. No problem. Fuck, no problem. I mean,
right.
tomorrow I'll do it.
Well, people could argue that it would take the effort would come before, right? Before the payday.
We're doing it in reverse then, because I'm
Right.
gonna try it the other way around, see what happens.
Yeah, so the 3 people that are listening, you write a fat check and this show's gonna get a lot better. But if that's even possible, right?
10,000 downloads though, that was nice. So all
Yeah.
3 people, 3,000 listens apiece. We fucking love all
Well,
3
that's
of
what I
you.
had a few people that I shared it with, and they're like, "Well, shoot, man, I'm probably X amount of them, X amount of them." But the cool part is that I told like you could listen 500 times, but it only counts you as one time, per episode or whatever. So those are 10,000, unique listens.
What would Matthew McConaughey say?
All right, all right, all right.
Those are rookie numbers. You gotta bump those up.
Bump those up, yeah. Um, so yeah, I have no good 5 for 5. I know that you're getting excited about a little rugby action that's coming up. Now see, now
I'm
this
so
this is where our
excited.
listeners are gonna go away, but that's okay. Hit us with
No, don't you dare do that to me. I'm gonna start sending you this podcast. I think this is old man I listen to named Buzz. I think you'd love him.
Hey, speaking of, like,
Huge
plugging
fan.
plugging other podcasts, I told Kevin today, he mentioned that he has a few he listens to, he's looking for something else decent. I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Have you ever checked out, Necronomipod?" And he's like, "No, what's it about?" And I kinda filled him in, and he's like, "Dude, I love that shit." I'm like, "Well, if you like that kinda stuff, like, those guys do a really good job at it, and it doesn't sound like you're listening to, like, a documentary, like, they have fun with it." Um,
Yeah, they
yeah,
do a really good job
yeah.
at it.
Absolutely, and they seem like pretty normal guys.
Yeah,
It
down
would
to
be
earth.
what this show would sound like if we put that effort in that we were talking about.
What would you cut out there for a second? I didn't hear what you said.
I said it would be what this show would sound like if we put in that effort that we were just talking about.
What'd you say?
No, get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
I'm gonna report myself, repeat myself, whatever. I'm reporting the fact that I'm repeating.
The Zuckerberg's gonna report you.
So
But yeah,
tell us about the NRL.
rugby, man, huge bone.
So
I'm
is
so
that what is that?
excited.
Is it the National Rugby
National
League?
Rugby League in
And that
Australia.
it's
Yeah.
in Australia. So
All-star game. I'm gonna tell you, all right. We're gonna talk about it a little bit. 30 days to the All-Star game, which would be like February. It's right before Valentine's Day. The best All-Star game in sports, without a doubt. They all play. That is Hank Williams IV, bearded dragon. He's like a lava color. He's badass. He hates Paolo, and Paolo hates him.
it's I don't hate him. I just would
You just won't
prefer
touch him.
I
I
just want
mean,
him to stay at a safe distance, that's all.
what if you felt that way about your children? What
I
would people
do.
say?
I do.
Safe distance.
It's true.
Yeah. That's Hank Williams IV. No, but yeah. NRL's All-Star game. Okay. The indigenous versus the Maoris. You will not find a better All-Star game. Not even close. I don't even know.
The indigenous.
Yeah. From Australia.
So, like, it's split on, like, racial lines,
Oh, very much
cultural
so.
lines. Could
Cultural,
you
definitely
imagine?
cultural.
Can you imagine if the NBA did that?
Oh God. The Washington Generals would get smoked.
It would. It'd probably look a lot like that. Who would I mean, I don't watch the NBA enough. Kevin does probably, but, like, or at least more than we do, but I would like to know who would be on the white all-star team.
Probably the best player in
You
the league right now. Luca.
right, but I mean, beyond that, I mean,
He gonna put up 50 points himself because ain't nobody playing defense.
how many good whites are there in the
There's enough
NBA?
good whites to field one Washington Generals team for sure. You got the Djokovic's and Vucicic's. They're all Eastern European. Yeah.
Yeah, mostly foreigners, yeah. They wouldn't even have to wear matching uniforms,
Why is that?
right? Well, because, I mean, we're talking about dividing this down racial lines, it's pretty clear.
You might have a couple red. Where's those Scalabrini at when you need him? You think you dig him up?
He's
White
retired.
Mamba?
He's retired, man. Is he doing TV? He should be doing TV if he isn't. He'd probably be great at it. Sorry, I'm doing a little repair here. I got, like, the duct tape out and stuff, so carry on.
Right in the middle of the live?
Yeah,
What'd you
NRL.
break?
Oh, my light. I broke my light when I got out of the box, and the next I already had it taped up, and my tape job failed momentarily, and so I'm now repeating it.
What about all your subscribers? That OnlyFans better be half off now. If we're looking through a busted ass ring light, better be half off for shower time.
There we go.
Is it good now?
Good enough.
God damn it.
Good enough.
No, but All-Star game, it's the first game of the season. They don't do it ass backwards like everybody else.
That's cool though. I mean, I don't know that anybody does it ass backwards, but that's cool that they
No,
said.
they
How do you
do.
know? So do they base it off of like
Last year.
last year?
Mhm.
Well, that's
But
I mean, at least you get like
in the beginning, they have a big ceremony. The indigenous does some tribal, I'm not sure what it is. The
like
Maori do the haka. It's fucking badass. They all come out, like one does it, the other does it. They come off like basically a 50-yard line, kind of face off kind of deal, shake hands and start beating each other's asses.
right. And
And they
so
play. They look like they play the fucking game. That's the best part about it.
yeah, rugby strikes me as a type of sport like the people who play rugby probably wouldn't be on board with like tanking, right, as it exists
Right.
in
Yeah.
in America,
Tonight we're not playing defense. Yeah.
right?
I don't think that works.
I mean, I'm assuming they have a draft, right? You know?
No. So farm system. Now, how they get kids to their farm systems, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't really delved in that much. But you have like a juniors league, and some of those kids might be 16, 17, 18 years old.
Wow.
And you would get signed basically, like I said, to a farm system, like to Penrith Panthers or the uh, Brisbane Broncos or whatever. They basically have their own farm system, and then they would just move up the ladder till they made the major league.
So is rugby bigger in Australia or in Europe?
Oh, I would say definitely Europe.
Right? Just more people, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Population wise and shit, but the NRL is like that's Australia's. And that might be their number one sport.
Who does rugby best?
Ooh, probably Australia. It's faster. It's easier to watch. You
Just I
know,
mean, no, do they play uh
England and some of those they play more of like traditional, like World Cup style rugby, slower. But Australia, they've cut out some of it's almost like arena football to the NFL, but the product is better, if
I
that makes
gotcha.
sense.
It'd be like if the NFL players played arena football?
Exactly, correct. Yeah, because most of these guys are on, like, world teams,
Right.
but they go back there to play club
So when is the primary season in Europe? Like the primary pro
right
season?
now.
Like
Like,
just
the gap
starting or it's in
getting towards the end of it, couple more weeks.
so I was curious if people like would
So
they may
basically,
go
if
to
if you really enjoyed rugby, you basically 1 month out of the year, you wouldn't have anything to watch.
so could they go to I guess I didn't know if there was enough separation where you could play pro rugby in Australia and then go play pro rugby in Europe and basically just be a pro year round, or do they
Um,
overlap?
they overlap, yeah.
Okay,
And, like, you wouldn't play for 2 different like that. You would play for, like, your country if they
right.
went and played test matches somewhere else, and then you would go to whatever club you belong to, but
Kevin mentioned New Zealand.
oh, the
Do the New
badass.
Zealand but do they get
The All
involved?
Blacks
Do they but I mean, like, do those people play on teams in Australia since they're so close?
and England and
Right,
all around the
okay.
world. I mean, the All Blacks, you know, by and far are
That's their
probably the
national
most
team, right?
correct.
Right.
That's probably,
The most well-known
they're the Yankees of
rugby.
rugby. Yeah.
Gotcha. So who's the Yankees of the NRL?
The Penrith Panthers.
Okay. I
And
mean, like
that's more of a recent, like, they're back-to-back champs, 3 out of the last 4, maybe 4 out of the last 6 or something like that. They've been perennial.
is it a lot like, is it similar to pro sports here where you kinda have the haves and the have-nots, or is there, like, quite a bit of parity where it doesn't take is, like, their level playing field as far as, like, salary cap, payroll, ownership, you know?
Correct, yes, but you have a lot of, you know, Cleveland Browns, Chicago Bears, where they're like, "Hey, we're not gonna spend money. We don't wanna compete. We're gonna end up down here," but it's hard to kinda dig yourself out. So, like, when they deplete their farm system, it's very similar to baseball.
Gotcha.
It's like you have years before it's now you're buying people instead of just moving people up.
Okay. That makes sense. That's fascinating. Um, Well, because me, you, and Dick played in we did that fantasy draft last year, which for a while I was sort of paying attention, and then just it's such a long damn season though.
It is 24 weeks.
Yeah, it's like half the
That's a
year.
lot. It's half a year. Yeah.
Um, but you had a cool idea, I thought, which was to try to see if any listeners, because last year was just me, you, and Dick, right? I mean, that was it. But to try
Yeah.
to see if any listeners might be interested in participating in an NRL fantasy league. Just for fun. I mean, or whatever. I mean, we could up the stakes. None of us really you know more about it than anybody. The rest of us are probably on a pretty level playing field as
Well,
far
I'm
as
not going to pay out to myself, but I thought it'd be cool to open it up and maybe, give out a little prize or something for the top 3. Because
that'd be cool.
it's a long season. And if you don't pay attention, you're not changing your lineup and shit, you're not going to end up there regardless. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I had a hard time honestly kind of figuring it out and following it a little bit. Just well, I don't understand the fucking positions for one. Um
they
and
give
then
you more
just
trades this year. So things have changed. Like
yeah,
the scoring of it's a little different. But if you didn't catch on to it last year, it's not gonna like that's going to be a big,
right. Well,
it's not going to
I
change a
didn't
whole bunch.
I did it's not that it's complicated. I just didn't catch on to it honestly, probably just because I wasn't that interested in paying that much attention there. I didn't give it the time to figure it out per se.
Everybody says that, and I felt the same way because for 30 fucking years, I never watched it. As soon as I watched it, you pick it up just like that, man.
Right.
It's no different than any other sport. There's still things I see that I'm like, what the fuck was that all about? But you can turn on an NFL game, like, what the fuck was that flag for? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
It's no different.
No, for sure. No, I mean it's definitely there's no doubting the physicality of it. Those guys, you got to be tough as nails to play rugby, and obviously you have to be reasonably athletic. And one thing I did learn through talking to you a little bit and being a part of that league is that there really is a difference. It's like football. Like certain positions are built a certain way and have a certain skill set,
Right.
right? And that was pretty interesting. And
Some of these guys, though, they're brick shit houses.
oh, for sure.
They are
And it's the
defense
opposite.
NFL defensive linemen out there running around with no pads on.
And it's the opposite, right, of like soccer, where you got guys getting carted off
No, no,
on
yeah, yeah.
stretchers and
There's not
stuff
too many
like that, and like
floppers.
flop, yeah, where you got dudes playing with like gashes in their head. What up, Kev? How you doing, buddy? Um, but I think that you can't question the toughness that the rugby guys have at
So
all.
recently, was it Notre Dame back in the day that used to do the feint where they would get that free timeout or whatever? Who was that in college football?
Fuck, dude, honestly, I don't know.
Or like maybe it's the
Well,
New York
a
Giants
lot of people do. Now I
where they
think
just
that
have somebody drop. But this was a long time ago. This is before they actually even put the rule in. And
right,
people are like, hey, it's fucking time we got to
yeah,
change that.
yeah,
But it sounds like in the last couple of years, like getting closer to like the playoffs or the championship, the grand final, they still had a rule in place where if someone went down a specific way, that there was something allotted to that team, and they've kind of caught on that that's bullshit, and people been doing this, so now they've put new rules in place for even less of that to
gotcha.
happen.
Well, I feel like in a sport like that, you can't blame people necessarily for trying to take advantage of the rules, whatever they are, to gain a competitive advantage. But rugby
If you
seems
ain't
like,
cheating, you ain't trying.
yeah, rugby seems like the type of sport that would be, kind of has a certain amount of like honor and respect to it, maybe where they're for the most part, they're above that, right? But you said if they had to put a rule in place, maybe not. Maybe it was fairly prevalent.
Well, I just think people were calling it out because it wasn't like a regular season thing. It was as you got those tighter matches where it's win or go home.
Yeah.
People are like, oh fuck, you know, here's this little loophole.
Well, one thing that I'm happy about talking about like flopping is I'm pretty sure that I don't know if I don't watch a lot of NBA, but like in college basketball, like I think up until this year they would warn you for flopping, and then like the next time um,
Don't you be
you
doing
got
that
called,
again.
and
Yeah.
now they just call it the first time, which is good. Um, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, anybody that's interested in being in a little fantasy football league should let us know. A little fantasy rugby league, no cost to you, just play. It is a long season. Obviously, most of us don't understand what the hell's going on, but it could still
That's
be,
even better.
yeah, it could still be fun and entertaining, and
It's
maybe,
literally from March until September.
yeah. And honestly, if we
Yeah.
if we get a few people that want to do it, we can kind of for a few minutes. If we're gonna do something like this weekly, we can hop on for a few minutes and just talk about how the week went, who's doing well, who isn't, and
Yeah, have a leaderboard.
on there
Pub
you go.
time
Yeah,
leaderboard.
that's right. Pop up the pub time leaderboard and go on from there. No, I think
And
it'd be cool.
Dick will be in there, so he'll at least be last.
Right.
Got that. He won't be last. Toilet bowl.
Yeah, and we could give out some sort of prize. I don't know, maybe a pub time. I'm trying to think of something funny, but I just can't at the
Didn't.
moment. But
Yeah.
no, moment passed. It escaped me. But honestly, the first thing that popped into my head was a pub time
Pocket.
cock
Oh,
sheath. But
okay.
I was like, that's kind of dumb. So that's like too much. It's like trying too hard to say that. So I don't know. Something neat though. Maybe a t-shirt or we
And to
talked
be
about making
honest
some
with
hats.
some hats for
Yeah.
Dickie do. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I think just like yeah, it'd be nice.
I love a good hat, man. Love a good hat.
Who doesn't?
I don't know. People with
You
great
know,
hair.
fuck them. Fuck them.
People
We're not those people.
No, no, we are not. We are not. So, Eva, do you have anything more you'd like to say on the sport of rugby before I get into my story?
No, I'm ready to get into this story.
Okay.
Dad's had a couple beers. I'm ready to talk
So
about the Catholic Church.
so yes, this is a conversation that kind of I came up, I heard it from a coworker, and it's kind of been ongoing for a few days, and I find it fascinating, honestly, incredibly entertaining, and so like thinking that it'd be interesting to talk about, I was like, summarize this for me really quick. So this is a woman, and uh, her husband has basically suddenly, without notice or conversation, immersed himself like head over heels into the Catholic Church. And
Out of nowhere?
yes, like thin
Wasn't
air.
Catholic before.
And so this was the quick summary that I got was uh a husband goes through random phases and obsessions, has recently become obsessed with the Catholic Church out of the blue. Started reading the Bible and has made his own rosaries and rosary bracelet. And he's made these bracelets for her, for their son. He's equipping the whole family with contraband, and he's had lunch with a priest, and he's now signed the whole family up for church. They've received stuff in the mail like welcome
Oh
your
boy.
family to this church,
Yeah.
all this stuff, and like it's addressed to her and her husband, and she's like, "What in the fuck is going on?"
This is
And
deeper than I thought, bro.
and just imposing this on their son, who's I think 3 or 4
Yeah.
ish, and
Yeah.
without ever having a
Ripe.
conversation.
He's ripe for the picking,
Oh, God.
is what they're thinking.
And she is like she grew up Catholic and has been through the whole 9 yards and is, like, separated herself from it, wants nothing to
That's
do with
that's
it
that's what I
moving
asked you in the
forward.
beginning. Husband, raised Catholic?
I'm not sure. It would seem that there would have to be some sort of a correlation, I guess, to I don't know that that's something that someone just, like fuck,
Yeah.
I don't know. That I don't
I'm
know.
Baptist, but hey,
Um,
let's go do this Catholic thing. Yeah.
okay,
Well, I
so
told you when I was a kid, Episcopalian, which is very similar to Catholic Church. You do the mass, you do the whole bit, altar
right.
this, altar that, just minus the rape
So
part. I mean,
so she had a few photos she shared with us, and, like, one, like, they have a little gym set up in their garage. There's a squat rack, and
I
she was doing something in the squat rack and looks up, and there's literally, like, a little cross, like, taped to the inside of the squat rack. I mean, like, it is just
too
overrun.
far. Yeah. So, when
Like,
you first said that, I thought, like, she's gonna look up, there'd be, like, a fucking altar or, you
that's
know,
probably coming. It seems this is one of these things
the
I look forward
the Virgin Mary or
I look forward to it daily because it takes another it progresses. I mean,
hold
like
on,
the
so
whole
every day she comes back, fills you in?
yes.
I love
Yeah,
this.
there's new updates. Because at first it was,
Who's the
um,
drinker in the family? Mom or dad?
I I don't I think they both drink a little bit. I'll have to ask. I'll have to dig deeper.
Enough to be Catholic or no?
I did ask if he drank. She said he does, but he drinks wine and only out of special glasses.
Holy sacrament, yeah.
But I think this
Blood
existed
of Christ. I get it,
before
I mean, I get it.
before, one other interesting fact is that her husband also has an obsession with kilts, and he has a kilt for, like, every occasion, like a
No,
workout
listen,
kilt,
I
one
can
for
fucking
mowing the
get down
grass. He has a
hold on.
camo kilt, like,
See
he
big
has
dude? See big
uh,
dude? I'm thinking
yeah,
like
yeah.
Gash. When I
No,
think of this,
yeah,
I'm
so
thinking of Gash.
not like Gashaw, but yeah, he's a good sized
He's
guy.
out fucking throwing telephone poles and shit around, like,
No, definitely not doing
no
that, no.
Highlands game guy,
No,
just wearing kilts to wear
maybe
kilts,
in his mind, but yeah, not in reality, no.
balls in or balls out,
Uh, definitely in, I would say.
sheathed. Okay, so he's not really into kilts.
I think he's into the idea of kilts. I
Mm.
don't know. These are I catch bits and
Would you
pieces, and I
wear
draw
underwear
my
if you
own
had a kilt
conclusions.
on?
Honestly, I probably would. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I've ever
What's the whole idea behind
I
wearing a
can't
fucking kilt then?
I cannot think of a time or an occasion that is in my life where I would be compelled to wear one in general.
Do you think
That's
William Wallace had his balls out or his balls in?
oh, there was
Out.
nothing under that kilt.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But we're talking about
I'm
what? The fucking
don't
1400s
don't
or
don't bring
something?
logic into this. I asked you a question.
Anyways, it this sort of Catholicism waterfall has cascaded down upon their household, and I find it because I'm asking, I'm like,
Hey,
so
I got a 5 for 5.
once I'm like, you're telling me there has not been a single conversation, like he hasn't been like, hey, this is something that like I've been thinking a lot about that I think that would be good for our family, etc. She's like, not one fucking word.
Does the kid
Like,
get any say in this?
no.
Speak for yourself, dad. Good for the family, my ass.
I mean, yeah, no say. No say at all. And so, I mean, I guess my question to you would be like, how would you react if you and you would never necessarily find yourself in the situation, but what sort of advice would you give to somebody that found themselves in a situation like this?
Like, to them as a friend or as a partner,
No, I'm saying if you
as the
were if
wife.
they came to you and said, "Hey, this is happening to me in my life, what the fuck would you do?"
I would see old boy's going through some sort of midlife crisis. Has to be, because of all fucking religions.
You think he might be as just like drawn to the
You could throw a fucking dart at the board. I don't know about that one. You know what I mean?
maybe he's just drawn to like all the window dressing that comes with the Catholic Church, you know?
What?
All the
That you get to
all the
drink
pomp and
real
circumstance.
wine? You get to drink real wine at mass instead of fucking grape juice?
Well,
Like what?
just the
What
pope
what?
the pope that resigned, right? Pope Benedict just died. Maybe that. Maybe he saw that and was like, "I wanna lie in state for 7 days
He's
after I've died
95
someday."
fucking years old. He's going to die.
But
You know what I mean?
maybe he was saw that wrinkly old dead body laying there and it just
They
struck a
I don't know.
nerve. I don't know. I mean, I find the Catholic Church, like, fascinating, like, from a historical perspective, just in general. I mean, but not
Fascinating. Do
just
you
it's
find Islam
interesting.
as fascinating?
I would say it's
I think they
interesting.
both have
It's
as
interesting.
storied histories, you know?
Yeah. I find it interesting, you know, that they parade a guy around in a wizard outfit, and everybody thinks he has a secret connection to God. Yeah, that seems a little strange.
And then every 10 years, they find another guy that's got the
Yeah,
same
they all vote.
secret connection.
Now,
But
I don't think this still happens, but did you know that once upon a time they had a chair whenever someone was elected to be the next pope, they had to sit on this chair that had it basically sounds like it was a toilet, but it was a chair and someone would like lie on a creeper that you'd see in an auto shop and like roll under the chair to
and look under that wizard suit.
make sure they had a cack and balls because there's no way they would ever let a woman be pope.
Why didn't they
So
just tell him to lift the robe?
they had to verify. I don't know, maybe they felt like it was disrespectful.
Cliche.
I don't know. But
One of the priests stands up and said, "Hey, I seen it when he was 10 years old. I know he's a boy.
but
He's good."
oh god, no shit. I mean, to me though, when it comes to something like a choice about religion, that doesn't seem like something like okay, if you on a whim decide you're gonna start eating a different way or whatever, but like to make this choice seemingly overnight that you're going to go head over heels, like
My
hardcore.
my biggest issue, okay, with the Catholic Church, and I've fucking brought this up multiple times. This is no different than anybody else that I'm having an issue with. Until the Pope comes out and personally calls these fucking assholes out for any sort of abuse towards children, until they even fucking acknowledge it, null and void to me. Null and void. Because I told you that I listened to some over 500 million cases, 500 million, 400 to 425 million cases have been settled out of court
Right.
in the last 20 years
Well, it's
against the
because
Catholic Church.
they've got
20 fucking years.
yeah, it's because that's a fat checkbook they have, man.
Half
And
a fucking billion in 20 years. How many of those cases never went to court? How many of those
sounds
cases did go to court? Too goddamn many. 500 million. We ain't talking 1,000. We ain't talking 500. Half a fucking billion in 20 years. How long's that Catholic Church been around with their storied history?
well, I'm not saying but no, they've been around basically as long as human I mean, almost as long as human history, probably modern human history.
1,000, 2,000 years, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. 500 million
No, I hear you. I
in the
think I've
last
actually have
20
you ever
years.
watched that movie Spotlight? You need to watch Spotlight. Uh,
Kenny told me to watch. I don't like watching shit. Pisses me off because they
but
don't do anything to these fucking assholes. They move them to the next church.
well, and that's
That
this
fucking enrages me
well, I'm
beyond
saying
belief.
this it's based on a true story, like, because it was the Boston Globe had I don't know if they still do, but they had a section in the paper called Spotlight that they'd release, like, once a month, and it was a big story, whatever it was, and I think for some reason, I wanna say, like, Mark Ruffalo's in it, maybe, um, I don't know why he's popping into my head, but he might be, like, one of the reporters or something, but anyways, they essentially are gonna blow the lid off this thing. And they get all sorts of pushback along the way, and, like, it's almost like they were told one story, and they keep going down the rabbit hole, and they realize how vast it is, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Like, and they find out what you're talking about, that
Just like anything else.
all they do is shuffle these guys around from one church to
Church to
another or
church to
whatever.
church, different states. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, did I tell you the story? Like, so I live across the street from
Yeah.
a
Yes. Yes.
convent.
Yes. Yeah.
And
You
there's a
told me.
little duplex thingy next door, like, oh gosh,
And
what
they
the
put
hell?
one of those fucking pedophiles in
There's
there to hide them out.
and I mean, I don't know, I don't have
You got a really
what I
good
was
fucking
told
idea. He probably
well, what I
was.
was told about this guy is that because the sisters ran the nursing home, and this guy, like, came in one day, was in there, like, and, a lady that was in there, she was older, and she, like, freaked out and was like, "That" and someone's like, "What's wrong?" And she's like she explained that, like, he apparently, like, had abused her when she was younger, and now this guy wasn't old, so, like, this woman must have been an adult when this guy did whatever he did to her, because she was an old lady, and like, this was, like no, no,
Doesn't
I know, it doesn't
fucking
matter, but
matter.
I'm saying, like, it happened somewhere in, like, Peoria, and
Mhm.
so instead of doing anything, they just were like, "Well, hey, we're gonna just send you up here to basically be under the radar in this tiny town of 1,500 people and hope nobody notices.
And that's what
And
I'm saying, and especially with religion a lot of times.
right,
Are they practicing what the fuck they preach? Not at
in their
all.
case, absolutely not. No,
And that's I don't know, man.
I
Tell
don't know.
tell
I
your
mean,
girl tomorrow, go in, fuck, call it off. Call a lawyer. Get rid of that guy. I
it's
don't know what he's up to. I can't trust him.
it's fucking weird, man. Like the part that really blows me away the most is that there was never a conversation. Like never any like that's a big deal. Like that's not something you
Oh,
just
you're gonna sign my ass up for some
right.
mass or something? Yeah. You
And
wanna go do whatever you wanna
right.
go do it.
And then
Don't
the
involve me. Don't
or the
involve my
child.
child
Right,
until we
without
talk.
yes. Absolutely.
You take your fucking ass to mass, go do whatever you need to do. Hail Marys, go light that candle. Been there before.
Yeah,
Don't just be signing me up.
it'd be like it'd be like quitting your job, right? Without it's like, "What did you
No,
do?"
fuck, I could do that. That's a me thing. We ain't working that fucking job. I'm quitting that bitch on my own. That's different. I ain't sign you up for nothing there. You
Right.
dare throw that in there.
But, yeah, I it's just been bizarre. I mean, it's really kind of I don't wanna say horrifying, that's kind of a strong word, but
I felt like I knew who you were talking about until you said he was a big guy.
no, you don't know who I'm talking about.
I know.
100% chance you don't.
We
100% chance you don't.
we do have a small update on our friend Chillbilly Brenda.
Do we? What do we got?
Her daughter the other day goes to her house to retrieve some things. It changed the locks on this poor child.
Really?
Can
Without
you believe
notice.
that? What a fucking dirtbag. Who does
So
that?
and it is this is,
Basically adult age child too, like
right. So is Chillbilly Brenda this child's
biological mother. Yes.
biological mother? Okay, I just wanted to
Yes. She
verify.
gave birth. Yes.
And change the locks. Like, has this child been living there, staying there, visiting frequently?
We already talked about this bitch. I
I
don't think
know,
she
I'm
wants
trying
much
to
to do with her anymore now.
right, well, I would hope not.
But
And the whole deal was, right, like,
that's
no
for the
no
child to make up, right? The parent should always be accepting, regardless, at least somewhat.
and
This
her big
kid's
thing
not.
was, right
Let's put it this way: this kid's not a dirtbag. You know what I
no.
mean?
Well, and her thing was she wasn't paying child support, right? Like,
She don't pay her
she
half. No,
no,
she
she
don't
don't
pay
pay her half.
anything.
She's on the outs,
To be
and
honest,
it's not
to
because
be
she doesn't
honest, to be honest, for a while the state made the supporting parent still pay her.
even though she didn't have the kids.
Correct.
That sounds like something our wonderful state would do.
Wouldn't you, don't you love it? But
Land
they
of
gotta get
Lincoln.
their cut. They gotta get their fucking cut. So that's the only way they're gonna get it. But yeah, we should definitely find that bag of dicks. Send it to Brenda's house.
Oh,
That'd be a good
absolutely.
investment.
Absolutely.
Like
Uh,
those glitter bomb dicks. I know you can send them. I've seen it before. You open it up, it's just sparkly dicks everywhere.
the glitter bomb dicks, is that what you
I'm
said?
serious. I've seen it before. I think we could definitely work something out like that.
We could one of these nights, we just
I
need to
could find
call
the
her.
address.
She gave us the phone number last week. We should just fucking call her up. Give
Can we
her a
like
ring.
stay incognito about it? I'm like, hey, this is Ed McMahon, Publishers
Clear.
Clearinghouse. What do you think? We could probably work something out like that. I have to work on my radio voice.
We could pretend we were a different podcast.
Like what? Good one. She's in the medical field, so maybe we could pretend to be like some fucking
I don't think he's back on here yet. I was hoping he was.
nip tuck. Who's that?
This is the Fire Footwear podcast. Chill, Billy Brenda. Pay your
Oh,
half.
yeah, pay your fucking half.
Ah,
Worthless bitch.
I tell you what, man, like, just to talk about that, like, I have no personal interest in sneakers and different shoes and their value or whatever, but, like, it sounds like there's a good chunk of people out there who do, and,
You wanna see a fine piece of footwear, it's right there. You see that thing? Can you see that?
I
Oh,
see your Hey Dude.
gay dudes. They're so nice, I love
They
them.
are comfortable, I got a pair,
God
yeah,
damn it.
I like them. I told you, though, those look a little colorful for you. I'm surprised that you
They're
got
black and white. What do you mean
the
colorful? They're
surprised you got
literally black and white.
the designer version. But
Design
you
tie-dye.
got the bedazzled jeans version of Hey Dudes.
Motherfucker, they're tie-dye,
Do they
black and
have
white.
do they have rhinestones around the heel?
Oh, god damn it.
What? I'm asking. I need to know. Yeah, even Kevin knows. Yeah, click on that one. Yeah,
Fuck it,
little
I'll
tip.
throw it up there.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, you wear shoes around with little rubber balls on them, and you're gonna bust my balls about some black and white shoes?
Dude, I'm telling you right now,
Those are the
I
no,
don't wear
listen,
the Crocs.
I've tried those black pieces of shit you bought me on a couple times. Every time I do, I feel ashamed. I feel ashamed.
That you like them so much. You're embarrassed that they're
I
so
feel
comfortable.
every time I put them on, I feel like I'm kneeling in front of a man that has never met my parents. Every time.
Dude,
Not down here, I'm chilling out, I'm
Crocs,
just
I like the
relaxing.
Hey Dudes. Crocs, they're nice, man. I prefer them over
What's
sandals,
with
like,
this? What's
by
with
far.
this? What's with this? I need to know.
What?
This. When you put your feet in there, what is all this? I hate that. That is the weirdest feeling in the world.
What, you mean like the textured bottom?
This.
Probably so your foot doesn't
You
they
know
probably have to do
exactly
that.
what this
If
means.
that was just your foot would, like, suction to the fucking bottom of them. Probably.
Every other shoe in my life I've ever put on is flat.
Maybe it's a little
Why
traction so your foot
why
doesn't
is it
slide
all
out.
this?
That bother
Well,
you that much?
that's what the strap in the back is for. Yeah, it bothers me a whole bunch. That's
They're
why I don't wear the
rib
goddamn
for
things.
her
For
pleasure.
his pleasure. His pleasure. Don't you dare say hers.
Um, no, my dad had Crocs back in the day, and I made fun of him hardcore for his Crocs, but I tell you what.
Rouchard never wore a pair of Crocs ever in his life.
Oh, yeah, he had a pair, man. Okay, let me do
Had
you no,
had a pair. He's
listen,
over it.
listen. That homo had a pair that had this is back when he was married to his ex-wife who,
Brenda.
spawned of yeah, basically Brenda, and he had Disney charms on his Crocs. Yeah, you talk about fucking
Hold on. You went
gay.
from duct tape to scotch tape?
No, it's more duct tape, it's just a smaller piece.
Listen, we're changing this isn't pub time live. Brad fixes all. Can you get your shit ready next time before we do this?
This old house.
You
I
don't
used
look
to
like
like
Norm
watching that
Abram.
I used to like
I
watching that
love
on, like,
it.
Saturday morning.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. Tom Silva's my boy. We'll wait, Brad, till you're
You're
done.
good. You're good. No.
No, it's okay.
No,
Get
our one
real.
listener's here for you anyways, I'm sure.
It's Fidel. You know it's
It's
Fidel.
okay. Number 1 fan.
What's he drinking tonight? That's what I need to know. I got
Thirsty
some
Thursday.
probably some of that $400 scotch he was talking about.
Matty Ice is back. Hey, you missed it, man. We just plugged your sneaker podcast, but we also just
We're gonna
considered
call some lady and
and pretend to be
chill
Fire
coffee.
Footwear.
Yep. Fire Footwear podcast. And then we're gonna send her a bag of glitter dicks. Not like useful glitter dicks, like the ones that just blow up in your face.
We're gonna watch the listener number decrease by 1 here in a second.
Oh, he's not like Pritchard, I promise.
You have to ask
God damn it,
27
Mike.
you have to ask 27 more times. That's the only way to get
I'm
on.
shutting the comments off.
So you have a long ways to go to get on this show.
Yeah, it's actually really hard on the show.
Or it isn't. It's a war of attrition.
It is. Spam incoming. Spam's the least of my worries these days. I actually kind of like it myself.
Dude, I've never had spam once in my life.
You're a goddamn liar.
Swear to God, unless you fed
You
it to me
fucked with some
sometime
spam.
unbeknownst. No, I
Yeah, I know
haven't.
you have. Yes, you have.
No.
You've eaten it with me. I guarantee you
No,
have.
I have not.
Yes, you have.
No, I'm dead serious. Never once in my life have I ever
You
consumed
tell
the
me
canned meat.
Betsy ain't ever fried up
No.
no spam.
No, man. I remember like
Look at you
watching.
living up on the hill, good living.
Dude,
You
I
talk
remember
about all
even
this trailer park bullshit. You know how much spam I've eaten in my life?
when
I
I talk
love
about
spam,
trailer
though.
park bullshit. I remember yeah, Hamburger Helper, man. That was the spam of my household.
Oh,
I
hamburger
still
helper is
anytime
disgusting. I can't even
somebody
smell it.
Fred at work the other day, good old Fred, was warming up some Hamburger Helper, and someone asked him, "Oh, what you eating up for lunch?" And he goes on about Hamburger Helper and how fucking delicious it is. And that person
You
comes
take
back
that
in the
shit
office.
outside, Fred.
I was like, I can't eat that shit, man. Like I had it just all the time as a kid, and I don't care what that box says the flavor is. It all tastes the fucking same. It all
Yes,
has like that same.
unflavored burger and noodles.
Just give me the
Disgusting.
burger. Give me the burger. Keep your helper. I'll eat the burger. Yeah, you ain't got to
That's so
cook it.
bad.
I would rather eat raw ground beef than fucking Hamburger Helper. 10 out of 10 times.
It is the choice of me in Hawaii. That's their thing.
I would think that don't they have a lot of feral pigs in Hawaii? I would think that
I want you to eat some spam. I want you to be a feral pig and eat some spam. I
should we
can't believe
do
you've
that?
never had spam.
We should. I swear,
I
man,
want
I've
you
never
to eat
had
an
it.
uncooked can of spam right here
Well,
on the Pub Time Podcast.
I
Just like
always
the cranberry sauce.
I always saw the commercials on TV. I remember you see commercials on TV for it, and I remember being at the grocery store and seeing it and being like, why don't
They
we
got
get that?
flavors now. They got jalapeno. They got flavors now. Spam comes with flavors.
Bring you a little burn with your diarrhea.
Already sent it, Matthew. You
Uh,
need to check all 12 emails you have.
I was on. I had to go to the junior high, Kevin, like I don't know, a month or two ago, because Riley was in like a little cheerleading thing there.
Oh,
Like a camp.
R.I.P. I know where Brad's going with this.
And
R.I.P.
Coach Mike was there.
Okay.
He was like sitting in the front row, and I saw him or whatever, and talked to him for a minute. And I mean, I tell you what, he doesn't look like he is aged. Like, well, you probably saw him during football season. Like, he doesn't look like he's aged at all. I thought, like, since we were there, however many years ago. But I just gave him a fist bump and was on my way. But probably the same fist he stirred the Gatorade with.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
He's like he's frozen in time. Like he's probably looked the same since he was like 19. You know what I mean? Like he just hasn't aged at all. He's Benjamin Button. Which doesn't make sense because Benjamin Button aged in reverse, and Coach Mike's definitely not doing that.
Do you know how much road rash the tip of that penis has on it? It's just crazy.
It has to.
She's dragging her up the hill to the football field.
Well, lucky for Coach Mike,
damn it, son.
no one's ever gonna see it, I'm sure. God,
Besides
he's probably beating that thing to
Besides
death.
you,
I have never seen it. Kevin's the one that saw it.
liar.
Kevin's the one that saw the hog. He stared that beast in the eye.
Touche. Not just like that time you helped that other handicapped man with his pants.
Hey, speaking
I'm
of
like,
that guy,
Brad,
listen.
I'm like, Brad, you can't zip it up with your teeth. What are you doing?
Speaking of that guy, so I was at the
Did you see him or the twin?
now it was almost certainly one of them, I'm sure, because I was at the Bradley game last week. In the halftime show, they had Epic has like they do it once or twice a year. They bring in their halftime.
Yeah.
And they go out and play a little scrimmage or something, which
Don't
is
make me
hilarious.
feel like an asshole. Yeah.
So
Probably better than the Bradley game most of the time.
I swear it was him, and this is the best part is the other people were in like basketball uniforms. He has a shirt on, and on the back says manager. Okay, and they're playing 5-on-5, but like
But he's in the game.
he just assimilates himself into the game at random moments. Like he's kind of running up and down the floor with them, and like one team's coming down, all of a sudden, like he like starts putting his hand up, they fucking dish him the ball, and he fucking shoots it. It's like I'm like, I love this version of basketball. Like it's just whoever wants to hop in anytime. Like, come on. Like
Get
can you
right in
imagine?
there.
Hey, can you
I'm
imagine
here.
if they did that in like real basketball games where like you could like hop out of the front row
They do that.
and like interject yourself for just like 30 seconds or something?
Is that like the thing where they want a regular person to do the Olympics so you can see how fucking hard it is?
Wasn't it Bill Murray or something that said that? Like that there should be a regular person every event just for like reference?
It would help. I mean, you can get a reference for how little difference there is between the gold medalist and the last place finisher, and then there's three schmucks like us trying to swim the 200.
Whoa.
But yeah, like
whoa.
well, that's true. Like
I am a gold medal swimmer.
The
I'll
last-
say that right now.
the last
right.
place person would probably love that because like they'd be like, see everybody, I don't suck as bad as you think I do.
Yeah.
We shouldn't, Brad. We should never invite him in here. We lost a viewer now. God,
What, all
bless
two?
America.
I was the viewer.
I know you were.
I mean, this is the tipsy tier. What is this? Something like that?
Yep.
What tier is this?
Correct.
What tier is this?
To be invited in, it's
Yeah.
only our $5 tier, but
All right. I mean,
might
I'm
be
down.
10 next month. I don't know.
I'm down. Do I get a mug?
Wait, no,
Stickers coming your way.
$5 gets you on. You get $10 if you want to talk.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's not terrible. Is that like every month? I mean, every
It'll cost you a whole
every-
sixer if you want to finish up inside me.
Wow.
Jeez, that's cheap.
Cricket.
No, I was gonna say that's all encompassing there. A cheap date. I
Sure
thought taking my wife out for McDonald's today was cheap, but that's a 6-pack. Come on.
Oh shit,
Hey,
man.
I never said what kind of
Dude,
beer.
I tell you what, when I was
That's a good point.
I don't shop the import and craft beer aisle often, as you guys both know. But the other day when I was stopped before I came over for us to do the recording,
I still haven't drank it. I should get it. now
yeah,
that
you
you're
should.
talking
I was
about it.
actually wondering about that today if you tried it. But like I'm
Let me
literally
finish
looking
this, and then
around.
I will.
Well, and I realized this too, like back when we were talking to the TBR guys and we went and got like delirium and all that shit. I mean, for a
So
4-pack,
good.
a 4-pack of delirium is like $20. You know, it's like
So good though.
it is. Oh, it's delicious.
It
It's
gets
so
you where you want to be.
Oh, for sure.
Much
yeah.
faster.
10%.
Belgium.
Much
But-
faster.
But yeah, that one beer, man, was like cost as much as that 4-pack, which I thought that 4-pack was a steal compared to everything else that was around it, but the sours or whatever. And they were good though. I thought they were solid.
They finally got to the point where they're splitting up those big bottles. Like it used to piss me off with the delirium bottles and like all the like Belgian Trappist monk ales. You had to buy like this massive bottle, and I'm the only one drinking it, so that's not really that helpful because it doesn't keep. So now they at least make it in 4-packs. I would much rather have that.
Yeah.
Thank God.
You bought me one of those champagne bottles. It was delicious. That Golden Drac.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Thing was
It's just
amazing.
I mean, it's an experience, but you just have to be
Right,
in
you
it
gotta
to
be in
like
the
do
mood.
it that night. So
Yes.
you're that kind of man. I'm not that kind of man.
Yeah,
Buddy,
man,
when they
it's a
start
long
going down, they go down.
I assume that's after you or before you swim the gold medal leg of the 200 medley.
Hey, me and Michael Phelps was smoking a little bit and had a little Subway, and it's time to do what we need
That
to
is
do.
why he is as good as he is, because that
Yeah.
you got
He
to
can
be
breathe
man.
underwater. Hold
It
that
was like
bong
that.
hit.
What about the one Olympics where he was cupping? He had all those red marks all over himself, and like the entire country freaked out because they didn't know what it was.
I've
And now
never tried that.
and every Tom, Dick, and Harry started cupping.
Yeah, no thanks.
Two
Yeah, I've
girls
never-
were cupping.
Now there's the $15 tier to watch you guys cup live, which sounds a little
I'll
bit.
try it. I mean, it sounds okay.
Do the blood one where they actually like cut you and then cup you, and then all the blood comes out. It's like our modern day bloodletting.
No, that sounds weird, but
It is.
it was
Definitely
if it was in the name of the Dark Lord, maybe, but not just for fun.
Some asshole convinced athletes that brings toxins out. I'm like, that's exactly what they did in the Middle Ages. Like, this is not anything different.
They say
No.
onions in your socks does the same thing, so I'm gonna try that one first.
I tell you,
someone cut
one
me.
thing one thing I enjoy that I feel like has really gotten some traction is the sauna, man. Like people are talking more and more about sauna and the benefits of sauna. I like a
Yeah,
good sauna. Now
except
it's
for
been
when
a
you gotta
long.
lose 12 pounds, it ain't no fun.
That's true. Yeah, it's
What are you cutting weight for a fight?
I'm
Yeah,
saying
every-
back in the day, like saunas. Like,
Oh, my dad was all about the
that's just
sauna, man.
That's just a nightmare word.
Yeah, he was all about the sauna. He'd go
Well,
in there like right before Weight Watchers, and he's like, "I'm gonna hit the sauna, do my Weight Watchers for the week." I'm like, "What?" I didn't get it until now.
right. Well, it's probably different enjoying a sauna, like just recreationally as opposed to after like a 2-hour workout when you haven't
Oh yeah,
eaten anything for 3 days or whatever. Like,
yeah. No, sauna makes me feel like if I walked into a sauna, I feel like I would have to be old with wrinkly balls. Like there's just no way that I could do it now. It just, I don't know. It feels like something my dad would do.
well, that'd be the weird part for me is it sounds like I think maybe there's even some gyms, at least back in the day, where like they required you to be naked or whatever. Like they wouldn't let you in there, or like a hot tub.
It's
like, you
Ryan's
couldn't
kind of
get in.
gym.
Those are different places.
Like,
Peoria was not a gym, Brad.
but yeah, I think, or maybe it's just the fact that old dudes don't give a shit. You gotta admire that, man. Like, you'd walk in a locker room at a gym back in the day, and like old guy just walk in and carry on a conversation with you.
Throw that thing up over his shoulder.
Yeah,
I was gonna
What you
say,
looking at, boy?
did you ever see that? It was a cartoon where it was like old people versus young people at the gym, and like the old people were like basically holding each other's dicks while they were talking to each other in the gym. The new people are like covered up as much as they can.
I have not seen that.
Oh, it's great. And I also lived it. Oh, so here's a good story. So I used to, when we actually went into an office, we had a gym at the office, and I used to go in early. This is when I was like marathon training, a little look at me, Louie here. But, and every morning for like a good 3 months, there was a guy in there and he was blow drying his balls.
Oh my gosh.
Like
And-
up under the hand dryer?
Like he's got the hair dryer under there, blow drying it. And he looks over at me and says, "Good morning." And I'm like,
So he brought his own hair dryer.
no, that's the thing, is he was using the community hair dryer to do
Oh,
that.
that's awesome.
So it's like
But
a
they weren't
hotel
on
hair
his
dryer.
balls.
Well, and then
Hair dry that shit. I know what he's talking about.
I know
I
what he-
imagine that this guy looks like ravishing Rick Rude. Like that's all I
nothing
can
like
picture.
nothing like it. He was
I
like
love that guy.
he had he had
All right,
the Robin Williams sweater chest. And he was
Those
also doing that
balls?
too. He was also doing that too. He's like blow drying his chest hair, which as a guy with chest hair, I mean, I get it, but it
My
was
guy
just
didn't want his nut sticking to his leg. That's
well,
all it was.
the best part about that was fast forward like 3 weeks after that moment, and that guy's teaching an HR class that I had to take. Like, how can I take
like-
this guy seriously? Like, and
Well,
I'm like,
you-
that's the guy. Like, that's the guy. My wife did that to me once where she's like, "Hey, you remember that woman that I told you walks around full bush at the gym? That's her." And I'm like, I didn't need to know that. Like, I didn't need you to tell me that.
So you're like,
No,
what do you mean?
Uh,
What do you mean no?
I'm not talking about
You
the
don't know
bush
what kind
part.
of
I'm
bush
talking
it
about the
was?
woman.
Oh, just the woman?
She described it in gory detail. Let's
Very
just
graphic,
say
yeah.
that the
Curtains,
person that went with the bush,
lips were
was-
swinging around.
it's
I
not
know.
great. Not
Knocking
great.
shit
It's
off
not great.
shelves.
Not, not great.
Jeez.
Sorry. I mean, we're all
Uh,
objective here. I'm sure people have seen me at the gym and are like, nope.
Yeah. Well, look at we just dropped 2 listeners. We went
Great.
from 3 to 1. Just the
And
bush.
I'm
Bush
the one
talk.
who,
Bush is fine.
you're the
Fuck
one
it.
with the bush. You're the one with the bush light flag right behind you. So you're repping the bush league here.
Bring on the bush.
Did I ruin this live feed?
Oh fuck. Oh,
Oh,
yep. You
yes.
sure did. You
You
just
put it right in the tank.
And here in the what is
God damn
what
it,
kind of
we're
a
so-
what kind of a
we're doing
bar
so
is
good.
this that we got here? It's like an
Red
old timey.
Yeah, it's not bad. I like it.
No,
we need to get a
it's like-
picture of the Coolio. Maybe we'll just go take a picture of the Coolio and walk out.
No,
Oh,
we
looks
should
good.
we should drag our microphones and headphones in there and just set up shop without even asking.
Wow, it's
Say,
almost
we're-
like somebody's told you that before. Who could that have been?
We've talked about that for a long time.
And never done it.
No, yeah, we haven't. No, I mean, I would.
Get your
but I
ass
think
out there.
what
we need to get an Uber. Do you know how many good
Yeah.
people we could get though? Like on the mic, like that's good
Yeah.
stuff there.
Well, and because like my idea was or whatever, our mutual idea, like you find somewhere to go, and I figure you want to go like on a weeknight, like not when because you don't want to take away from whatever, especially being brand new, doing it. Like people may fucking hate it. So it's like, hey, we don't want to come in on Friday or Saturday when you might have a band or
No,
whatever
I
else.
think it's better if they fucking hate us.
I agree.
Like, let us come in on some slow bullshit weeknight, just for starters, and we'll set up shop. And my thought is like, we like, hey, like, we'd like to talk to like an employee to get like the word out there. And then I'd like to talk to a couple regulars, and maybe it's like a mostly sober, coherent regular.
Oh,
And then
No.
but then I want the regular that's pissing on the floor of the corner. I want that guy too.
You got to get the manager in there. Give that guy
the
a little
manager,
bit.
owner, whoever. Like,
That's got to be the first one. You got to give him the shine. Why are they going to come?
Yes.
Why? And then that's when they say that's when they give you that's how it works. You got to jerk off the manager first. You can't do that. And then you get those regulars in there.
And I tell the manager, like, hey, like, pick out 2 people.
Wow.
But I tell them, like, hey, like, the drunker, like, hey, if you want to put somebody on here that's going to sing your praises even more, great. But I want the drunkest fucking person you have in this place that just talks out of their ass. Like, I want that person, please.
Yeah. You want the drunk guy who blow dries his balls. That's what you want.
Yes.
Fuck yes, I do.
Followed by the drunk woman with the giant bush.
Or the podcast.
That's true.
And
That's true.
Wouldn't that be even better if we found someone at the bar that also had a podcast?
maybe. I don't know.
How many
So-
people are
Going down-
watching this right now?
1.
It's just us.
It's probably just Kevin.
This is going down in the annals of time.
Who's watching? Name yourself.
Trapeze
So I
Reveal
probably
Reveal
should,
yourself.
might
No,
be my wife.
Kevin, bark twice if you're in Milwaukee.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Is it? Hold
it's
it up
not
there
bad.
again. I can't remember. It was like a single bottle on a shelf. Get it
Good
closer
job.
there.
Move it.
Get up, climb on top
Trapeze?
of the table,
Rochefer.
reach your miniature arm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
And-
they had like ones that had a 6 on the bottom and then ones with a 10. I don't know what the fucking difference is.
Might be how long it was aged. I don't know.
All right. Lisa Marie Presley died.
I saw
Breaking
she
news.
was in critical care.
I mean,
The
11
whole
minutes
Presley
ago.
family is basically done.
Breaking
Yeah.
news.
Breaking news. Yeah.
Kevin,
that's-
Lisa Marie Presley has died.
This is now a news podcast. I love it.
And it looks like Clemson has hired the former TCU assistant coach to be their new offensive coordinator.
Wow. They needed a little help though, because
The
They're
Clemson?
upgrade for him.
Yeah.
once Trevor Lawrence left, man, their offense started looking pretty ordinary. I mean, they had a couple dudes. DJ Shipley was decent, and I actually think that it's like Cade. I can't think of his name. The kid that started in the bowl game. I think he's going to be okay for him.
Yeah, but Lisa Marie Presley, the picture that they used didn't look great.
Yeah, she didn't
Rough.
age well.
No.
Give me Lisa Marie Presley, fucking Michael Jackson. Those years, like that video. What was that music video they did together?
Ooh.
God, it was good.
I'd ask the listeners, but there aren't
Kevin?
many to choose from
But,
now.
Well, you know, bub. Please help me out.
Wasn't Remember the Time, was it?
Ooh.
Oh,
I'll look it up.
I don't know what it was. She was
Ooh.
good looking back then, but God, that was probably 20 years ago.
I'm not the guy for that. Who
yes,
is?
you are.
Where's Mike? He'd
He's
know.
not the guy for that either.
He'd know.
With
Oh, 4 of us now. Great.
Michael Jackson. So yeah, Lisa Marie Presley, new listener joined us.
Perfect.
New listener, Lisa Marie Presley has passed away at the age of, anybody know?
54.
41.
54, 41.
Oh,
41 looks like
I was trying to make
54.
myself feel better about
54 going on 74.
this. Yeah. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
You Are Not Alone is the music video that she was in with
Oh,
Michael
all right.
Jackson.
Remember the time.
I
you were
hear
not
it now.
alone.
As soon as you said that, he just sang it to me, actually. So
Me.
just real soft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Have you
God.
guys ever have
Hello,
either of you
Michael.
ever been to Graceland or anything? No, me
No.
neither.
No jungle room.
I have an aunt though. My dad's sister she is obsessed. I don't know. I'm probably more so, but more so when I was younger, maybe she still is. I don't know, but like she is like giant Elvis fan, and I always remember she used to joke around with me when I was a kid when I played, being from East Peoria, travel ball everywhere. The logo is EP, and she'd always be like, "Oh, well, it's EP for Elvis Presley," blah, which obviously as a kid I'd get all bad about it because I just didn't realize it was a fucking joke. But and then she always because I guess
He's still mad about it.
Elvis's middle name was Aaron, which
Yes,
is my middle name.
Yes.
Not after Elvis, but she claims differently. So, yeah.
To be honest, I would be more excited about the Peabody Hotel than I would about Graceland. I want to see those fucking ducks.
Oh, is that in Memphis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they like take them down to the fountain,
parade, and then they go back up to the penthouse.
I think they stay down there all day, don't they? Like in the fountain.
10 and 10. They come down at 10, go up at 10. So yeah, 12 hours. They plan a 12-hour shift.
I saw a video when I was studying culture on TikTok the other day. And they show like it's crazy because the lobby was packed. There was hundreds of people with their fucking phones out.
And those fucking ducks know exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Just
watching these two guys in tuxedos like herd these ducks out of the fountain. Like,
so there's like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and then this.
Yeah,
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you have.
Makes perfect sense.
You have to remain in silence.
Lincoln Memorial.
Like, yeah, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is pretty legit.
I haven't been. I've never been to DC. Well, I've been through DC on a connecting flight, but never left the airport. I've never been to DC otherwise.
I used to know a guy who was in the Corps for the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and it is strict. Like, you cannot speak, you cannot break character, you cannot do anything like that. And when they change over the guard, it is a very specific ceremony that happens exactly the same way every single time. And it's kind of like it's a very and when you retire out of that, there's like a ceremony of that too. Your whole family comes and everything. It's like the first time at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier that you can like break character, basically.
That's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I've seen like videos where someone might be talking or something and they'll fucking get after him.
Yeah.
in
Like
a
Ryan
hurry.
in a pool at the Olympics, getting after it.
And what's crazy though is I mean, like it's literally right 24/7, 365, rain,
is.
shine, blizzard.
Oh
Doesn't
yeah.
matter.
Yeah, there might be a Facebook page or something where they show the pictures, and yeah, you see the guys out there. Like this time last year, we got 24 inches of snow. They're out there, standing there,
Yeah.
snow piled up on their hat, piled up on their guns, everything like that. No, it never stops.
I'm gonna say something that most people aren't gonna enjoy right now.
All right.
The soldier out there taking those steps cares.
Yeah, he does.
Absolutely.
More than
Of
likely,
course he
the
does.
government that put that unknown soldier in that place could give two fucks.
I think the military cares. Having a heavy military presence in my family,
Oh
they
yeah,
take that very
definitely
seriously.
the
But
military
like,
for sure.
yeah,
would
the
care.
government though, like, what does the government
But-
really care about?
Yeah, that's
And I
true.
work for them.
Yeah, I
Themselves.
think it's the government.
Unfortunate.
In regards to Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, I think it's one of those things on Memorial Day they have their photo op, right, with their wreath they take out there.
Because that was also the Vietnam War, right? That's where.
Well, isn't it? I don't think it's one
That's when they
person. Isn't
started.
it? Isn't it like
it's
a
supposed to
series?
be of all the wars, but
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
yeah.
isn't it
pretty
like
sure
in the-
Vietnam is where this all started?
Yeah, but I think. Well, I know it represents more than a single person, but isn't the actual the grave that's there itself? Isn't it a series of a few unknowns?
Oh, since we're breaking news on this, let me look it up.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think
I
it's
said
one.
this is a news podcast now.
I don't
Come on
think
in,
it's
boys.
one. I don't think it's one single person, one single body. I think it's. I mean, even maybe just portions of other
I-
bodies.
I agree with what you're saying.
All right. Should probably turn
I
my.
think soon after Vietnam is when this whole idea was.
All right. This is where it's really freaky. I
Enacted.
typed in tomb and Google finished it with of the unknown soldier. That's a little
Well,
weird.
it's probably the most popular tomb.
What about Tombstone
Raider?
Driver?
Tombstone, the movie. That's obviously one of my favorites.
It's a great movie.
Oh,
That's my absolute favorite.
Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp. Smoldering.
Way better than Kevin Costner.
I tell you what,
Man crush.
he's a good fucking actor. Like,
yeah.
he's kind of like, I've heard like interviews of him, like just personally, like out of character, and he's kind of goofy, but like he's a great actor.
You know he played baseball, right?
Yeah,
Like
if
he
you
was
watch
going to
that
get drafted. Yeah.
Battered Bastards of Baseball or whatever, that
Mhm.
documentary, that's really good. Like his dad owned that team in Portland, Oregon. The Portland Mavericks.
It was something like that.
Yeah,
He's been married to Goldie Hawn for 35 years too.
which
so
you don't see in Hollywood ever,
No.
right?
No.
You can
just-
tell they're probably fairly normal, decent people.
Isn't Tom Hanks still married to his wife too? They've been together for like 30 something years, haven't they?
Yeah, I don't know about that guy.
I'd say what
can't-
I don't know about that.
I love Tom Hanks as an actor, but yeah, the more and more stuff you kind of hear trickling out, it's like
I don't know.
Like what? I've never.
He might
heard of
have a
some of
little
these
Charlie
things.
Sheen in him. I don't know.
I mean,
well, I don't
maybe.
know. Like there was, I think
But-
he's one of the people they allege it's on like the Epstein flight logs and all that shit, and who knows how I don't even know how accurate any of that is, but I just feel like in the last 10 years there've been a few.
I'd rather be
questions
a
raised,
skeptic.
which is honestly I'd rather not know that stuff because I think he's a really good actor and I love I always he plays the same types of characters for the most part, but I always almost think I think there's certain actors that fall in this category where they play the same type of actor quite often, and you just assume that that's who they are, right? That they're that type of person, and that may obviously not be the case. But
All right, so there is nobody in there. It is just a monument dedicated to people who have not been identified, and it was a World War I thing. But changing of the guard, just to circle back to that. So
God, let's pause for a minute. How fucking wrong were we about that?
It was
God,
hold
we were
on.
so wrong.
It was built during World War One.
Well, the tomb, they approved the burial of it was an unidentified serviceman from World War I. Is the first person that was there that started the whole thing. That was 1921, and then it has evolved into what it is today, which represents any and all soldiers who have not been identified.
So this
So
World
one
War
body.
One.
Mm-hmm.
But wait, you said there's nobody there though.
Well, there's nobody there. It started that way, but it has evolved over time.
Gotcha.
Is what I mean. However, changing of the guard. So in the summer months, which they consider April 1st to September 30th, the guard is changed every half an hour. And during the winter months, which is October 1 to March 31, it is changed every hour. After the ceremony closes to the public, which is 7 p.m. to 8 a.m., April through September, 5 to 8 a.m., October through March, the guard is changed every 2 hours and all that kind of stuff. Let's see if
Hold
they
on,
say.
hold on. I'm calling dog shit on that because I'd much rather be hot than cold.
Hmm?
You
No,
tell
I
me I
bet
gotta stay out there and freeze my ass off for 1 hour?
No, I bet they do it more often in the summer because there's more people there to see it.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they do it.
Oh, just the
frequently.
changing of it.
Yeah.
However, on October 4th of 2021, the first all-female changing guard took place.
Wow.
To honor Sergeant Chelsea Porterfield, who was the first woman to hold that position. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wonder. I thought I saw something that like kind of went through what it takes to get that job, and it seemed like it was pretty thorough, but I don't remember the details.
hold on a second. I will.
As usual.
Here's a good picture for you. That's the. Can you guys see that? Hold on. Yeah. There you
there
go.
it is.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's
Good
the
job,
guard
yeah.
in the snow. That was 21. So that was probably January or February. Around
See, it
here.
almost looks like up here in the foreground, like those in front of the main tomb, that there's 3 spots where there would be like a physical person, maybe. But
Brad, he already
It could
told
be.
you what's in there.
It could be. I mean, they've changed it over time, so I don't.
Listen,
I don't know.
no,
But look at
no,
that gun. Look at that
Matthew,
bayonet.
Matthew, you
Yes.
have to call him out on this.
Why?
Quit being a dick, Brad. He already told you there's one guy
being a
from
dick.
World War One. No, you tell Brad to quit being a dick.
Oh,
One person from World War One. There's not 3 people there. There might be. I don't know.
there could be. Who
I
knows?
just don't
But
know out there.
I mean, it's a cool visual.
Now
at
Brad's
that.
froze.
there we go. No,
He's
I
not
was just
moving.
froze myself.
Oh,
So, why is Kevin wants to know if we're drinking tomorrow? What's the occasion? Just a Friday?
Could be.
We're supposed to.
I'd say if he comes off some of that McClellan's or where the fuck he's holding on to.
So we're
Yeah, try a
supposed
little
to,
bit of that.
right? We're supposed to be on happy hour tomorrow night, right?
Yeah. Would you rather?
I'm next week too.
Would you rather be on?
That
Tomorrow?
sucks for you. You got to follow us.
I said sloppy seconds. I'm what am I talking about? I'm talking about the 80s movie Clue. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
That was
have
a
no clue what you're talking about.
That was a choice by me.
So you should invite. I'm probably gonna be in at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm gonna probably just do that from here, but you should invite Kevin over to your house. Maybe you can just hop on with us.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Well
Perfect
played,
reason.
sir. You
Mhm.
bringing some of that McClellan's
You could have Kevin live in studio.
live in the pub.
He could either hop on or he could just sit over there off camera in silence and just get hammered.
Speaking of Matthew, now that I
Yes.
have you face to face,
Yes.
I was talking to Lescus the other day. When
Excellent.
we doing this fucking Survivor Series thing?
You're the
Pub
one
Town
who's-
Throwdown.
It's your live
I'm ready
thing.
to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do it.
I was watching Bobby Heenan videos the other day. Little teaser.
You can't draft him unless
I can't
we throw in
draft
a
him. I can watch
manager
videos
spot.
of him.
Maybe we
Weasel.
throw in a little manager spot. I
So-
don't know.
How does this work?
So this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, host.
No.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
No,
we.
fuck, it was your shit.
This is originally my idea that we were going to draft an all-decade team for the 70s, 80s, 90s, and I think we said 2000s to now.
So this was your idea?
This is my idea. This is when I still had the other show that was sort of
Around
variety.
Survivor Series
Yeah,
12
and-
months ago.
No, 2 months ago. It doesn't matter because WWE is going to be bought by the Saudis and will no longer be a thing. So I guess we can do it anytime. But
We're calling it WWF. Fuck.
Do you think do you think the Saudis are going to run it into the ground?
I think
it's-
anybody that takes it's probably gonna.
Or
It's
do you
hard-
think they're just going to own it from afar?
it's hard to say, and this is wheelhouse for me because the business of wrestling, like, it's very strange. It's not like it was like in the 70s and 80s, like it was just it was a free for all. So, and I have to say that, like, in some ways, sometimes the stereotypical nature of the characters back in the day was like it was pretty good. I mean,
Right.
You played off the whole like Sergeant Slaughter versus Hulk Hogan thing because Sergeant Slaughter definitely seemed Iraqi at the time.
Oh, for sure.
But it seems like Vince is trying to come back so he can make a sale. I don't know, like, if it's a matter of they're just going to buy it and fund it, but I think as a part of the sale, he's going to want to be a head of creative, which is not going to be great because he's 80 fucking years old and isn't really in tune with like what young
Anything in
people.
life?
Yes, basically, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, the Saudis, because they do a yearly event there, or like two times a year. The first time they went there, they gave Vince a list of people that they wanted to show up, and half of them were dead. So that tells you, yeah.
I already told Brad I can't wait to see the Divas in bed sheets. That'll be a.
Yeah, well,
It'll be a
that's the
real
other thing too. Is
experience.
like, yeah, they've got
They
an
can't wear what they wear.
No, they've
You
got
know
an
what I mean.
Armenian guy on the roster who's they won't let even wrestle over there. So like he'll be gone. And yeah, the women won't be able to wrestle, which is a good third of their business right now. It's very odd. The whole thing is very, very strange. How had he just gone away, everything was actually working. I actually found myself enjoying the product a little bit more. And now we're going to go back to.
It did sound like today they met with Disney.
Yes, they
and
did. Oh, if
someone
Disney
else.
buys
I
it,
can't
we're in
remember the
good
other one.
shape. Yeah, if Disney buys it, we're probably in good shape. I mean,
Disney and ESPN maybe.
yeah, I mean, they have the dollars to put behind it, and I don't think Disney or ESPN would get involved in the actual product. Like
Yeah,
they won't get
day-to-day
involved.
Business.
Well, they
right.
won't care who wins what match or whatever. They'll leave that to Hunter or Paul or whatever you want to call him.
Whoever
But,
they put in. Yeah.
well, yeah. So
They would still have the reins to put someone in power or
they would.
oversee it.
But Disney, I don't think, would keep Vince on in a prominent role given everything that's like surrounding him. I mean, say what you
Yeah.
want about
They
all
just
that
want the entity.
I would
the
agree
name.
with you. I think
Yeah.
the Saudis are probably more likely to let Vince do his thing, which is why I think it's more likely that they would have the dough to put up So I don't know. I'll be very interested to see it, but I have to say that it's very, I mean, it's shrewd for sure. Like the fact that he's coming in and he basically makes it so that 3 people on the board resign because they can't stand his face. And I
Right.
mean, I
I'm
wish
gonna
I had.
take a
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a quick 360 turn.
Yes.
You watch New Japan at all?
I will catch it after the fact, but I don't watch it live or anything like that. It's a completely
It'd
different
be
product.
hard to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very. Yeah,
And
I try and catch
it's
it.
just strange, the crowd.
Yeah.
They do not react like
No,
to anything.
it's. I mean, if you
It's so
watch,
quiet.
yeah,
It's like they're watching a play or something. You know
well,
what
to
I
them,
mean?
it's
Like, they don't wanna
performance art.
interrupt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to them, it's performance art, which is funny. When I got together with my wife, I said, "Hey, I'm a wrestling fan, and I have been for years." And she'd never watched it and didn't care about it. And she realized that I watched it not because, like before, we would get lost in the storylines. Like I'd run through a brick wall when Hulk Hogan, something Mean Gene, like I'd be all over that. But today, I appreciate when 2 athletes go out and tell a good story. I mean, I'm a 40-year-old man now. And from that perspective, it is performance art if you can get by all the stupid storylines and all that stuff, because there is stupidity in it, but it's no different than watching the Kardashians every week. You
Yeah, and
know?
I would say more than ever, like the public, and maybe it's just because I'm an adult now, so it seems so obvious, but I would say that it's commonly accepted, and they don't even try to pretend anymore
It's
that
still real to
it's
me, Brad.
that it's fake, for lack of a better term, and for them to like go out there under that belief or whatever, people having that knowledge, and to still be able to put on a good show really says a lot, I think.
I do appreciate the old school mentality from the guys where they would be in character wherever they went. Sometimes there is something funny about that. Like The Undertaker for years would go everywhere. People saw him in a store, he'd be the dead man. Like he would do the eyes rolling behind him. He'd be wearing all black and stuff. And he's talked about this before. I mean, that's dedication to your craft. That's like method acting all the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he said like that he would never travel with anyone else. Like
No.
just like he'd travel alone. And yeah, he would never break character. Just and I think if you have that's what made it so great though. I mean, if you're a character like The Undertaker, you can't break that character, man. Like the more people see that and really believe that that's who you are, the better it is.
Oh
And
yeah, and the dedication to it was different. You could not get away with that today because we're just too informed. Like there's
yeah,
everything
internet,
is too
social media.
yeah, everything. There's too much of that. And also wrestling would be missing an opportunity by not having social media presence at all. Like these wrestlers need to have it because they need to be able to market themselves, because it's not like playing football or playing basketball where your play on the whatever field is going to rule the day. So like Kevin Durant doesn't need to market himself because he's good, right? But like every wrestler, like if his name is Tony White, that's not his character name. He's got to play that character. But like they do kind of go back and forth. But I found this whole Vince McMahon thing, like it's strange. Like, and I just can't. We talked about this, Brad. Like rich white guys. Like
Right.
I can't ever put myself in that shoe. Like, can you imagine Vince? Like 2 weeks ago, he's at home, he's retired, whatever the fuck he does in retirement, and then he's like, now I'm gonna buy the WWE back, and he just like does it, and I'm like, that no, none of us could do that. And as Ryan says all the time, white people ruin everything.
White people. Let's talk about it.
We need to like get a soundbite of just you saying. Well, I mean,
White
just
people.
white people. I should record it on the board and white people.
I don't disagree on a great many things that white people have
Ruined.
have definitely ruined. I mean, I think
Add professional wrestling to it now.
yeah. I mean, I guess, but
It's
like,
coming. It's coming.
how are they going to ruin professional wrestling?
Oh, you got to believe if the WWF goes under, I don't
this would
think
be-
there's much stake for the rest. I
It'd be
mean,
32 years of my life gone if the WWF went out of business. Like 32 years I've been watching that stupid product.
it's
many
gonna end.
years.
I mean, just how does it end?
Yeah,
I will tell you though that a good pro wrestling event, if you get a good crowd, hard to beat.
I've
Real
never
hard to
been.
beat. Real hard
Never
to beat.
been.
I took a friend of mine to. There's a WWF has a developmental thing called NXT, and that's usually before it was where a lot of the up and comers would go, and they used to put on amazing events. And I took my friend to one. He lives in Queens, and we went to the one in Brooklyn. He'd never been to a pro wrestling event, and I remember the first match. He doesn't know what to do because there's no announcers. So like, what do we do? Like, I'm used to listening to the guy tell me what's going on, and I'm like, the crowd is your announcer. Just like, take the cue from the crowd. So at first he's very skittish. By the end of it, he's like diving across the aisle, high-fiving everybody when there's like a false finish, like, all that stuff. He finally got it, and it was a great crowd, a great card. And I was like, that's hard to beat. I mean, it was really, really awesome. So it's not for everybody, but I can certainly suspend disbelief for a night.
Yeah,
So
I think it's good to, especially as an adult, when you get caught in the grind of whether being a parent, working a job, whatever, to kind of unplug from reality for a couple hours. I think there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, I finally checked off WrestleMania off my bucket list. I went to WrestleMania 35, and that was a riot. That was great.
Where was that at?
MetLife Stadium in
Nice.
New York. Yeah, so I went with that same friend, and I mean, it was being in a venue that large, and they got the fireworks, the pyros, everything's all done up. It was definitely cool. It was definitely worth it. And when I posted that I was there, a whole bunch of friends that I had at the time came out of the closet as wrestling fans. Like, they didn't want to say anything publicly. And they're like, shit, you're at WrestleMania? They outed themselves.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been going down the rabbit hole a little bit here and there because Peacock's got all of it on there, and just been watching random pay-per-views and little documentaries about different wrestlers, and like the Monday Night Wars, which we talked about maybe doing a pub time episode on that at some point.
That's so fast. That's so fascinating to me. All that.
I agree, man.
Can you imagine if that happened now?
Oh, it'd be wild.
It would.
It
be
might.
wild.
It might.
Well, think about
I'm
this.
not sure they'll ever get to the point that WCW had some roots.
Ted Turner
This
money is what they
AEW
had.
thing ain't got no fucking roots.
No,
Well,
No, they came in with the Georgia Championship Wrestling.
they did.
NWA,
But also,
they had the roots.
they had a rich white guy behind it, though. Like, that's.
Right.
I mean, they AEW.
Are you telling me Tony
kind of
Khan just because he's a rich brown guy, it's not going to work?
No, he's not his
Shad
dad.
Khan's son's not going to work.
He's
That's
not
what you're telling
Shad
me?
Khan, though. He's Tony Khan. He has a limited ceiling, I think, as far as disposable income of somebody
He
else
needs
that
a
he can
curly
use.
mustache. I know what you mean.
Ted Turner, I would have loved to be in the room when you tried to convince Ted Turner to write a check for wrestling, because that southern drawl, it would have been just
wrestling.
yes, that's exactly what he called it. Wild
But
West.
think about this too, that when else in history have you ever seen in any, we'll consider pro wrestling a pro sport for the sake of this argument. Have you ever seen another pro sports league even come close to like competing equally or even close to dethroning the top dog? I mean, I would say the closest thing, it would be the USFL back in, what was it, the 80s?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump fucked that up. I mean, that's
Small potatoes.
yeah, but that's probably the closest anything's ever been. I mean, we don't think about how unprecedented it is. Now, the difference is that,
What about the AFL and the NFL?
well, they merged.
Well, they merged. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I think one did get pretty close, and that's where like, hey, maybe we should.
Well, didn't they?
Put
they
this
were always
together?
on separate tracks, though, weren't they?
That's what I'm saying. They played in their own divisions.
But they both just kind of always existed simultaneously, right?
They
It's
weren't
not like,
competing. Well,
it's not like one sort of came out of the blue. Like,
yeah, because by the time the Super Bowl came around, TV wasn't common. It wasn't in everybody's household yet. Like, we're talking like late 50s, early 60s.
yeah, I think it was like 1960. Was that the
might have
first Super
been.
Bowl?
Might have been, yeah. And TV didn't become commonplace in everybody's home until like the 70s. I mean, even my dad talks about that. He rooted for the New York Giants because the Patriots, one, didn't exist, and two, that was what they got on television.
Right. I mean, truthfully, that's why Notre Dame's as popular as they are, because forever they were one of the only programs that was on national TV every week.
It's true. I thought you were going to say that's why I'm a Notre Dame fan. I was going to say
No.
because that's the only thing that you have. Like, yeah, I'm surprised you're not a Yankees fan, maybe even a Red Wings fan, that kind of thing.
No, I'm not a front runner at all, honestly. Like,
I know.
and to be honest, like fucking Notre Dame's been fucking pretty mediocre throughout my lifetime.
Kevin,
I
tell
mean-
me about Amari Telemaco. Tell me about it.
Yeah, the Cubs, that's a good point.
Cubs are going to be in a rebuild for quite a while.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because they won that one world championship. It's all that
dude,
matters.
Seriously,
Fine.
like,
Another 100 years, we'll be good.
Doesn't matter.
Fuck it.
I'd be curious. Actually, Kevin, you tell me. How long does the currency of that World Series last for you?
I would
About
say
3 more years.
I have really fallen off.
2026.
Like my Cubs fandom is really kind of disintegrated ever since then, because it's like, well, okay, that's
How hard is baseball to watch? Baseball's hard
it
to
depends
watch.
on what you like, man. Like my lifetime. That's right.
See?
Yep.
Why do you think I get so pissed with Boston fans? Because up until 2004, they had that same lovable losers couldn't get by. And now you go up there and it's just entitlement beyond what you could imagine. And they forget. Not that long ago,
Thanks
we were
a lot,
that.
Roger Clemens. Kurt Schilling.
No, Kurt Schilling. Roger Clemens was long gone. He was injecting his wife in the ass with HGH, wasn't he? What was
I
the
would've too. She likes it, man.
No, I feel like didn't his wife take the rap? Didn't she say, no, that HGH is mine? And we're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, something like that. I
Give
thought.
it to her right from the root.
And he just let her do it. He's like, yep, totally hers. Railroading her in more than one way.
Obviously.
Excuse me.
Brad,
Yeah.
I'm still your
What?
USFL comment. I'm
What about it?
blown away. That was
Why?
never even close to the NFL.
Well,
they were.
That was
It wasn't
arena
football.
football.
Jim Kelly played in the USFL before finally getting drafted and going to the NFL, didn't he? Didn't Warren Moon play
He
there
got
as well?
drafted. He got drafted and didn't want to go to
Warren Moon played in
Yeah, there you go.
Buffalo.
Canada.
So he went to. He didn't want to go to Buffalo, and so he went to the USFL.
And still ended up in Buffalo. Crazy idea.
Herschel
How'd that work?
Walker. Herschel
Yep.
Walker played in the USFL.
Oh, that's
USFL
crazy.
was decent, man. Like they had some success playing in the spring. What the death of them was, they decided they wanted to move to the fall and try to go toe to toe with the NFL, and they got fucking crushed. Like they would have been fine had they
But
stayed.
They didn't have the
in the
money.
spring.
They didn't have the bankroll. What'd you mean by like being on the level? They were not on the level.
I'm just saying they're the closest that anyone has come. Any other league has come to like being able to exist.
Oh fuck! I think right now, if somebody were to build another baseball league, they could get real close. And you
Depends.
do it like the Savannah Bananas. Let them come out on stilts and shit. I would watch that.
They're the
Yeah, I would
Harlem
watch that.
Globetrotters of
I was going to
baseball,
say,
though.
that's
That is
not,
fine.
it's not baseball.
Yeah, you can't have a league of that going on.
You could. You would fucking watch it, and you know you would.
Yeah, watch it
Baseball's
for,
so slow.
it is so
You know how many
slow.
games I watched last year? Maybe one. I would watch at least one Savannah Bananas game. Easy.
Korea has a great baseball.
Japanese baseball is amazing.
But the crowd is so quiet.
I feel like Asian countries play the game of baseball the way that American women play softball. They like sprint everywhere, like it's fucking super intense. And like where the American baseball is sort of like a lazy game in a way. Like
So we were talking about rugby earlier, and Japan is finally like kind of caught on to rugby a little bit.
Japan had had the ass for rugby. Huh?
They're very intense about it though. Just like you're saying, like they tried. So the Six Nations, basically, next month they're gonna play a small World Cup, which is the same 5 nations, and they add a 6th. Japan played it in a couple years ago and surprised some people.
Yeah.
Because usually it's England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, France, and then they add a sixth country. But they've like gained a ton of fucking ground on places that have been playing it for 100 years. But it's the same thing like Mount, or who said sprint? Was it you, pal?
What?
Women's softball. You said the women's softball thing.
Yeah, yeah. That
They
I
come on
feel
their
like
fucking sprint. Same way. Like it's all business for them. They just, and they are undersized. They're kind of the, obviously they still have people that are going to play the positions. It's not like the entire country weighs 100 pounds. It's unfortunate you feel that way, but
what do you mean? I'm just saying there's probably, I mean,
quit
Japanese
stereotyping
people
my Asian friends.
I mean, what do they call the people that are like the linemen of rugby?
Props.
Props?
Yeah.
That's fitting.
Kim Jong-il he's a prop then. Huh?
Yeah. Small bottom is what I heard. But
that's fast. That's a weird.
Ichiro.
Don't be
Fukudome be the shit.
don't be slandering Ichiro. That guy is a great athlete.
Ichiro's a stud for sure.
Ichiro,
No, what I think Kevin's saying, he's a hard fucking worker. Who knows?
yeah,
That guy probably have been good at anything.
Ichiro
give it to him.
Ichiro famously could basically do whatever he wanted with the bat. So I listened to a show that a podcast that's a guy who was the former president of the Marlins. Ichiro ended his career with the Marlins. I think he might have had 1 year with the Mariners at the end, or he was with the Marlins and he used to go out and watch him do batting practice. And he was so regimented. He would do the same exact thing every single time. Like he was just obsessively dedicated to doing it the same way, but he could hit home runs. He wasn't just about slap hitting. Like the guy had power. He just chose not to. And that's how good of a hitter Ichiro was. That Rookie of the Year campaign in 01 with him when he won the MVP and the Rookie of the Year, you're hard pressed to find a better season in the last 20 years of baseball. Unbelievable.
There's a training video of him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's playing left or right field, and just a rope to the fucking set to the catcher. It was crazy.
If they had a red
I hate
zone
to-
for baseball, it would be much more palatable.
I hate
Like-
to say it.
I would agree with that. Yeah, like with runners in
Ichiro-
scoring position, you flip to a game or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ichiro might be the greatest baseball player of all time, if it weren't for Pete Rose.
There you go.
I love Charlie Hustle, but
Oh, I'm not.
he might arguably like. And to be honest, if Shohei Ohtani keeps doing what he's doing, I don't know how you fucking argue it.
What
He can
makes
play any fucking position you want. He
Well-
hits home runs.
the thing about Ohtani that's so crazy is I've noticed that there are pundits and stuff who want to take either one half of his game that's struggling and talk about how he's not performing. And it's like, this guy is going out there. He's got a sub-4 ERA and he's in like the top 15 in all offensive categories. Like, and that's playing every day. So nobody else in the league is doing that. Like, you are not seeing any of these guys go out and do that. And it is amazing that he can pitch and still have, like, I mean, pitchers today are babied. And I guess it's analytics, but like, man,
No,
a guy struggles
all
in the third inning, you're out. I mean, God, Nolan Ryan would throw like a 280 pitch complete game with 58 strikeouts, right? Like, and nobody batted an eye.
Issue.
No. So I don't think we're going to be able to really put Ohtani's performance in perspective until he's gone, because we don't have anything to compare him to now. It's kind of like Lamar Jackson, Brad. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be the best quarterback of all time, but he's so unlike anybody in the league now that it will be like watching highlight films of Michael Vick until we're like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right, though. There's nothing to compare
I hate
it
to
to.
say this. But I think Justin Fields probably
could be up there too.
he's gonna pass him.
He will.
If the Bears can protect him.
Yes, that's a big if.
Because-
Lamar Jackson got got drafted to a team that had a Super Bowl caliber coach, knows how to coach, knows how to put personnel together, and they have made chicken salad out of chicken shit with all the stuff they've got in that roster. But like,
Can we talk about how that Harbaugh is maybe better at coaching football than the other Harbaugh? I think he is.
How can you say that though?
I
Because
think the little
Jim-
brother is better.
but Jim has had success like everywhere he's been.
he
He was
has.
great at Stanford. He was great with the 49ers.
Don't you
He's in
come
the-
in here just because he was a
took the-
Colts quarterback.
I'm
and he's-
not like
Don't
he's
you dare.
he's a fucking weirdo, and you could argue all day if he's underachieved at Michigan.
How many
maybe. I don't know.
championships does he have?
He has 0. Yeah,
Okay.
sure. But
Then
he's
I'm
also
giving brother the bump. I'm
but
giving brother the bump.
look at his
Doesn't matter.
overall. I am not saying that like
Give him brother.
you
Hey,
you couldn't
he
make an
stayed.
argument.
He stayed.
I am not saying you can't make an argument that John Harbaugh is better than Jim. Like you absolutely can. Like that's fine. But the gap's not that big in my opinion. Like Jim Harbaugh, like I said, he's been successful everywhere. Like
Where?
Well,
he was
Why
great at
didn't he?
Stanford.
Why didn't he stay
He
in
had
San
Stanford in,
Francisco then?
because I don't know, Michigan. That's why. Like
no, I think
I mean,
What do you
think
mean? That's why.
I
What
think
has he
if-
done at Michigan? Everybody talks about
they've
Michigan
been in the
like there's some
fucking
great
playoff
fucking
the
thing.
last 2 years. He basically resurrected Michigan from like
They got
near
spanked
death.
by a team that got beat by 60 points.
At
in the
least they
championship.
were there to get spanked. Like
They're just lucky they play in the Big Ten, and some reason they give them so much validity because they got 2 teams in. It's not worth it. The Big Ten is bad at football. Let's be honest.
it's top
Like
heavy.
big time.
this is
Big
getting
time
close to my
college
wheelhouse here.
football. It's
Ugh.
not good.
Well,
Let's be honest.
I just want to say
Why,
this
why
about
would they get 2 teams? The Big Ten of all people.
peak at the right time. College football is about when you lose, not when you
Yeah.
win. But I just
Right
want to say
at
this
the
about
end.
Jim Harbaugh because I think it's important. I think Jim Harbaugh gets, if I was comparing the two, it's not just a numbers thing for me because Jim Harbaugh can be successful in the NFL. He took Colin Kaepernick to a Super Bowl and was one play away from winning said Super Bowl. I think what holds him back, though, is that he can't get along with people in the NFL like executives. And if you want to be a good NFL head coach, you've got to be able to do that. I'm not saying you have to be a yes man, but you have to play the game. And I think Jim Harbaugh is a better coach for college because he has more power. He's got more control over what he does and what the people that he coaches do. In the NFL, those guys are professionals.
You have people like that though. Ron Rivera, I think he's probably more of a. He's not gonna eat a lot of shit from people. Not that
The
he's.
guy
in
didn't
great
even know they could
coaching
be eliminated
position,
from the playoffs. He's totally out of this conversation. Riverboat Ron, get him out of here. Send him
but
up
he
the
has
river.
he has a job. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't he
he-
be gone? He has a job. That's
Yeah,
what
he
I'm
does have a-
saying. There
he does
are
have a
those kinds
job.
of people there, and
No.
if you're better at what you do, you would still be there.
But
You wouldn't
yeah,
take
well,
a seat back if you were good at the NFL because you're going to make more money there.
I do
Well-
think you're right. Your point that he doesn't want to, I guess, answer to the establishment in the NFL. And Jim Harbaugh, especially if you're beating Ohio State, now you've beat Ohio State 2 years in a row, like he can do whatever he wants at Michigan. Like anything short of him like pulling some Jerry Sandusky shit or something, like he's untouchable in
Probably
Michigan.
already has. He's
You
got
know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, he's untouchable at Michigan. He can do whatever he wants, and there's something to be said for that, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think the gap's that big. I get that he hasn't won the big game at the college
Great, guys.
pro
Now
level.
Kevin left. Now we got nobody watching.
well, Mrs. Ice is home downstairs, so I'm gonna pop out. But
Yeah, it's about that time.
about that
Hold
time,
on. Before
Yes.
you leave,
Yes.
Brad, hit that button. Let's get out of here. Hit the button.
Alrighty.
Give him a
Let
little
me make sure I
something.
hit the right. Which? Well, hold on. I gotta make sure I hit the right one now.
Very bottom right
I
corner.
got you. The left corner.
Left corner. I'm
Everybody in the
sorry.
club getting tipsy.
Fuck you, Jim Harbaugh.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Why is it so loud, Brad? Damn.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Good night, everybody.